sometimes it is just too much.
So embarrassed.
Am I just talking too much?
I don't remember any of that.
There's a lot I don't remember, too. Too much information?
We say that after every one of these,
I
and for some
know.
reason, we're employed all the time.
Too much, it's ruined.
I can't believe we have a show.
We might not tomorrow.
Staci and Hutch say too much.
Yay! I'm excited for this one.
Well, we are
Not that
excited. Everyone, darn it.
Yeah, not that I'm not excited for the other ones. Can you talk for me, Stace, real quick?
Yes,
I
I am
need you
talking.
closer. Yeah,
I am talking. Yeah, this is a weak mic.
There
Weak
you
and
go.
sad.
that's a very weak mic. All right, there you go. Marc Scibilia is with us. Yay! I love Marc. Marc, thanks for joining us and taking some time to come down here and hang out in the studio with us.
Thank you for having me. It's awesome to be here.
You know,
He's struggling a bit because he's had, a lot of meat and it's
Yeah.
affecting his voice a bit.
That
Yeah.
video will haunt me.
that video. Did you know?
It's already beginning to haunt me.
Did you know making the meat video was going to be?
My career-defining moment.
Yeah. No, you've had some other great moments, but this is a big moment for you in the meat department.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of carnivores that are interested in my music now that weren't before.
Brazilian steakhouse, it'll kill you
Yeah.
every time. You got to flip that little coin over because if it stays on the green,
Tell
they
them to
will
stop.
bring you more.
They will. You know, if you know what I'm talking about, you have to go to Marc's Instagram and watch the video. It's so good. Your
Pretty
drummer, did he have just as much meat, or was he just support
He was
jumping?
He was supporting, but that guy has the fastest metabolism I've ever seen. In fact, there's what is it? The two things you can count on: death, taxes, and that Garrett is hungry.
He always hungry.
Just in a monster metabolism and a monster drummer.
Did that actually work? Like, did it bring the meat down? You know, we call it here.
I don't really. I eat like 5 hours before I play, and that's it. But I just went kind of crazy because I was so hungry because we had just flown from, I don't know, like America to London or Berlin or wherever we were, and I was so hungry. And then I was just like, oh man, I'm about to get on stage, and like, I am like tired from all this meat. It had not converted into pure energy yet.
Your story is so cool, just the way you got into things, your family story, the heritage of not only just the music, but where your family comes from. I wish we could keep you forever because, I mean, to have Italian and Lebanese in your family, first off, that does mean a lot of food.
And it
So
makes your hair super cool.
You are so into that already, but growing up, your grandfather and your dad, did your dad live in the States his whole life?
My dad was born in the States. My grandfather was actually born in the States, but his parents were immigrated from Italy, and they actually weren't citizens when he was born. So yeah, he grew up with immigrant parents, and he was a bass player, band director. He had his own orchestra. His mom died when he was 12 or 13, and so he cut hair from the time he was like a young kid all the way until 5 years, 6 years before he died. But he would cut hair during the day, and then he would play bass at night with his orchestra. And my dad similarly had musical pursuits, but he was a massage therapist during the day as well. So when I turned 18, I was getting ready to graduate. They were like, "You got to get out of here and give it a shot." So yeah, I was really sent off in that way.
Like, get out of here before you start learning to massage or cut hair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So are you the first in the family to make this a full-time gig, a living wage, in the
yeah,
music industry?
Yeah, I believe I was. My brother actually also moved to Nashville as well. He's a drummer and a really incredible
Do you and Matt
musician.
have that rivalry of, hey, I just got this song go viral. What'd you do today?
My brother?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, he's much more avoidant of the internet. So he's much more of a true artist. Like we do social media, we do all that stuff. He's like a little more hesitant in that regard, to his credit.
Well, it is a curse and a blessing. I mean, it can make your music go viral, but it can also have people talking about how much meat you eat.
Yeah, that's an unintended consequence.
Right, yeah.
That's collateral, I guess.
When you write music, because we know you writing great songs for amazing artists. The list is just too long to name one of our favorites, Teddy Swims.
Yeah.
When you write a song for yourself versus an artist, is there a different process, or is it the same process writing for yourself versus, or do you even know you're writing for yourself?
I think like when I work with, basically my writing process is I'm just essentially living my life, and I've got my phone and I'm documenting ideas as I go. So I'll have 5-6 ideas a day, of just like, oh, this is a title, or this is like a melody. And for instance, like when Teddy Swims came to my studio, I had this idea that I could imagine him singing, and I had it a couple months before. So I pulled it out, and, there's just some singers that are so good and so amazing that you're just like, I have to give them this great idea. This is like, I want someone else to sing this that even has like a different perspective on their voice. And so I pulled this idea out and he started singing. I was like, this is perfect.
Can you play the idea of what you had?
Okay. You know, I think it probably wasn't exactly like this.
Okay.
Like it was, the chorus went something like good. Okay, let me see. I'm going to do it much worse. Goodbye, my love. Okay, something like this. It's like, goodbye, my love. You told me up. I hope you found somebody new. Looks like goodbye's been good to you. Good days are gone, and I can't move on. Hope you found somebody new. Looks like goodbye's been good to you. Looks like goodbye's been good to you.
Cool.
And then did it turn out pretty similar as we've heard?
Yeah, I mean, his voice, he just has a monster voice. And so, you know, it turned out better than I could have imagined, honestly.
Wow.
What is, so you have the idea of the music before you start the lyrics?
For me, a lot of times the best things are kind of like the idea is there, because melodies are in my head all day long. Like we could be having a conversation here in the next 5 minutes and you might say something I think is interesting and we're still talking, but in my head, I'm putting to melody and to song something that was said, and you know, I'm still totally present. You know, I'm gathering these two things at the same time. But so a lot of times, the idea is the most important part of a song.
When it comes to being a father, you know, I ask this question to artists that are parents and their writing style. Did your writing style change once your kid or kids were born? You know, did it change with the second kid, or did you notice a huge difference of, wow, I'm more emotional in this aspect, or I can write more in this aspect?
I think, you know, for having kids has made my life and my career much less about me. It's about a bigger ecosystem. You know, it's about my family, and it's about, you know, even when I go out on the road, it's like, it's not just me going out there to like get applause from people. It's like I'm providing for them, and it's like much more meaningful work. In terms of like the actual writing style, I always joke, it's like I've been pretty inspired most of my life to make music. Having kids has given me less time to be inspired. And I also used to like to work really late. I'd work, you know, till 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and now I'm definitely not doing that. I pretty much finish at 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Minus the exception, but there's definitely another place in your mind and your heart that opens up, and some of my songs are actually about my kids, and some songs are inspired directly by my kids. And my biggest song is inspired by my daughter, by a question she was asking me about death, and so 100% it's impacted it.
Do your kid? Well, obviously you're 7 months. Does your 5-year-old understand what you do and the impact of it in the world?
I have a great story.
Oh, good. I was going to say, do they think everybody goes to work with the guitar?
Yeah, my daughter is 6 years old now, and she came up to me the other day, and I didn't really think they totally understood what I did. You know, they'd see videos and pictures, they didn't really get it. And I think she's starting to get it, because the other day she came up to me and she said, "Dad, I know someone who's more famous than you." She had this like cocky look on her face. I was like, what is fame? How do you know what any of that is? I don't really consider myself famous, but she just goes, "Yeah, I know someone that's more famous than you." I was like, "Well, who?" She goes, "Taylor Swift." And just looked at me straight in the eyes with this.
You're like, oh, so schooled.
I'm like, go ahead. If you know her, call her up. You know, let's talk to her.
And I just tell her a little bit for now.
Yeah,
yeah, got you beat.
It's funny. I have a story too. I mean, dad sharing stories. Sorry.
Okay, I have a dad.
You do have a dad, yeah. But it's weird that they don't understand, because I remember I told this story on the air many years ago. It was 2-3 years ago, and Nash was a lot younger than he is now. And there was a couple people had come up to us at the Mall of America and said, "Hey, are you Hutch?"
Yeah.
And then we'd walk away, and my son would be like, "Oh, that's your friend." And I'm like, "Sure, yeah. Like, how do you explain?"
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and he kept asking questions. And then I get on his level. I look at him, I go, "Look, and this is not how I feel about myself. I'm like you. Staci and I don't feel like we're famous. We're just go in, do our job, have fun." And I look down and I go, "Look, Daddy's famous."
Yeah, exactly. It's the easiest explanation.
Way,
And then with no hesitation, he goes, "But you're not YouTube famous."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
smoked.
"Okay, yeah." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. I'm
In
not
your
YouTube
place,
famous."
Dad.
Yeah.
Smoked. Yeah.
Hey, why don't you do a song for us?
Yeah.
Play whatever you want, whatever's on your mind, whatever. We just love hearing the acoustic performances in our studio, and excited to have you in. So,
Sure.
what are you gonna do for us? What's the song about?
I'll play More to This. This is the song that my daughter inspired when she asked me about death about a year ago. Not exactly a lighthearted song for 11 in the morning in Minneapolis, but it has been a song that's traveled all over the world. And we just got off a Europe tour, and it was so crazy to see all the people and from France to Germany to people singing in their own languages to their own accents. It really has united a lot of people. So I'll play you this.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about dying and how that's gonna be. My skin and bones give up the ghost, and I finally feel my fragile soul, and all I am falls into mystery. And I've been thinking about after, and all the folks I'd wanna see. My neighbor says that this is it, and my daughter says we live again. Most of the time I'm somewhere in between. Don't the question beg an answer? Don't a song beg a dancer? Don't you dare tell me that there ain't more to this. There's more to this. I've been seeing this life different ever since I let you go. It's just fragile flowers in a field, 60 stories made of steel, birds above and business deals below. And I've been thinking about our lifetime like I never had before. 100 years or 100 days, 100 times no difference, babe. Promise you I'd want 100 more. Don't the question beg an answer? Don't a song beg a dancer? Don't you dare tell me that there ain't more to this. And don't our tears beg for laughter? I promise I'll love you forever. So don't you dare tell me that there ain't more to this. There's more to this.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Yeah, is it weird to see that song go viral and then have puppies dying in the background?
Yeah, it was not a career path I chose.
Someone's posting their
could have
dog
imagined.
running, and you're just like, and having people cry to your songs and using it.
That's got to be weird, because for you it
strange,
means
right?
one thing. For some other people, they're taking it another way. Is that cool, or is that like, wow, that's not what I intended?
I think I certainly deliberately stepped into this song, and I released it, and I made this video about a year ago, and I had written the song 10 minutes before. It literally took me 10 minutes. I wrote the first verse and chorus, and I posted it just haphazardly. I wasn't thinking too much about it. It was just emotional. And I posted it, and in 24 hours there was thousands and thousands of comments. The video had like 1 million plays, and
Wow.
and then it went on to, I don't know, maybe we've 60 million plays on the collective videos. And so I think the thing is, I just had no idea. And I always say, from like the time you write a song, generally the best songs you're inspired by, but between being inspired by the song and having to record it, and then having to like find artwork for it and having to release it, and then if it goes well, you go on tour and you book travel. There's so many logistics between the moment of inspiration and actually being in front of people, and sometimes you forget what the song means. And I won't forget the first time I played it. It was our first headline show in Indianapolis. And I looked out in the crowd when I played the song, and the van had actually broke down that day, which is a kind of a marquee of all of our tours. The first day of the show, first day of tour, something breaks down. So we barely made it to the show, But I looked out in the crowd after a day full of logistics, and there were just people with like fully red, like tears streaming down their face. And I just it brought me back to the moment of inspiration, just realizing, how amazing it is to be able to put something out there into the world that, generally makes people feel alone, but it brings people together when you kind of just,
Break
put
it
it
down
up. Yeah. When
emotionally,
you put it into a song. And so it's been a real honor, actually.
That's very cool.
Do you ever get tired of playing the same version of the song, or do you switch it up, or do you, when you're on tour, because it's like, you're playing the same stuff to you, but the crowd wants to hear it. The crowd came, as
To
we all
hear that,
know,
to
to
feel
hear
and be
that
sad.
song or whatever.
Yeah. I think a lot of artists have success like a lot earlier than I've had it. I'm 38 years old, and I've spent a lot of my career in what's the word? Obscurity. Like I was releasing songs to no one hearing them really. And so for me, at least at this point, I hope it never changes. Like I don't really take for granted that if I have to play a song, if I have 30 shows and I got to play a song 30 times or 130 or whatever it is, like it's taken a long time to get to the point where anyone wants to hear that song 130 times. It's like, so at this point, I'm just grateful that people want to hear it.
Mhm.
Are you a numbers guy? Do you look at, okay, this song did well. Why did this song do well, as opposed to another song I thought was going to perform better?
I definitely look at things. I think I've found that it doesn't really, I've not been gifted in the way of, studying analytics or, that type of thing. Like I'll scope things, but I'm very ADD. And so I kind of just like, I guess people didn't like that song that I thought was incredible. So on to the next one. But that's about as deep as my analysis goes.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I'm like, just tell me if we need to change something at the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as we're having fun, that's all I care
Yeah.
about.
I'm not like, there's guys that are some great producers. They're real kind of tweaky with like how they, and now we try this part of the song or this thing. It's like, I'm just a little bit less scientific about it.
What do you enjoy more? Do you enjoy touring more? Obviously, being away from the family is super hard on dad, especially to a 7-month-old, and even a toddler or young kid. But watching you do the videos of you in your studio, you look like you're having just so much fun.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, I love the creative process. I think that's what's enabled me to stay in the game as long as I have. I moved to Nashville when I was 18. And I'm 38. And so I have loved every day of getting to go in and make something. And I think if I didn't love it, I think if I was just like interested in the outcome, I think I probably would have quit a while ago. But I love being in the studio, but I also love being in front of people. I love playing the show. I love the randomness and I love the chaos that can ensue in a live show, and just the variables that can make like a really special night that only happens one time. That's the beauty of it, in my opinion.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, what song do you wish you were the one who wrote that you think is such a great, well-written song?
Probably like, I don't know, you could probably pick 20 Paul Simon songs or 30 Paul Simon songs that I just think he's like one of the greatest lyricists of all time. Yeah. Certainly, like some of actually probably one song that I just think is so emotional, and it was probably because I listened to it right as my dad was diagnosed with terminal cancer. It was it's My Hometown by Bruce Springsteen.
Mm-hmm.
That's like one of my favorite songs.
Do you want to play a little bit of it?
Honestly, I wouldn't do it justice this morning. I would.
Is there other artists where you're like, and I'd love to play, but I just can't. That music is so important. It's
there's some songs where I just like them so much. I'd like to like run through it 2 or 3 times. And strangely, as much as I love that song, I've never really played it.
Wow.
What are you hardest on yourself about? What is something you just like, I got to redo that. Is it the playing? Is it
it's probably the playing.
Really?
Yeah, it's probably the playing. I generally, the playing. People like think people are always like, you're such a good musician. I know great musicians. In fact, one lives in this city, Corey Wong, who's a good friend of mine. And I know great musicians, and I am really like a songwriter, and my musicianship like scrapes and claws and rises up to like serve the song as best as possible. A great musician really, like when you hire like studio musicians, they could play any song ever, and they are kind of condescending their abilities to what the song is. I am like barely hanging on. So
the picking that you just did, it was very precise. It was very accurate, and do you see that, or are you like, oh, I messed up there, or messed up?
No, I think like what I do, I know how to do well, but I think like if you asked me to like create a variation on that, like a great session musician would be like, oh, okay, well, I'll just change this pattern to this. And it's like, no, this is the pattern you got. This is the one I can do. And it might look complicated and hard, but like I've practiced it a lot and I know how to do it.
What was the first song you learned on the guitar?
Actually, Blackbird my dad taught me.
Oh,
of course.
I don't know if I haven't played it.
That's-
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. Well, I haven't played it in forever. You were only waiting for this moment to arrive. It's kind of like the classic, like you walk in a Guitar Center and everyone's just,
Everyone picks it up, yeah.
someone's playing Blackbird, someone's playing a John Mayer song, and as my friend described it, it's like going to a driving range, a golf course driving range, but people are just hitting golf balls wherever they want.
yeah. Oh, yeah. It's Top Golf.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you going to do for us next?
I'll play you, this is a song on my new album. It's called Halfway There. Here we go. See if I'll do it in the original key. It might be a little early. It's a 10-year time. It's been 20 somehow since we chased down a feeling. Got some headstrong friends up against the wind, and we're too far to stop believing. Well, the world is asleep. We'll be chasing a dream. We'll be chasing that thing till we die. I'm only halfway there. I'm only halfway home. Already been to the places that I thought I'd never go. Still got that outsider in me, still say the same old prayer. Still tell myself to keep going, 'cause I know I'm only halfway there. I'm only halfway there. Now. How's it going out there? Are you making some money? How's the family? One day it's a crowd, then the next you're locked out, you're the enemy. Well, the world is asleep, we'll be chasing a dream, we'll be chasing that thing till we die. I'm only halfway there, I'm only halfway home. Already been to the places that I thought I'd never go. Still got that outsider in me, still say the same old prayer. Still tell myself to keep going, 'cause I know I'm only halfway there. I'm only halfway there. Running in circles, running me round. Running in circles, where are we now? Running in circles, running me round. Where are we now? I'm only halfway there. I'm only halfway home. Already been to the places that I thought I'd never go. I still got that outsider in me, and I still say the same old prayer. Still tell myself to keep going, 'cause I know I'm only halfway there. I'm only halfway there.
Nice. I don't want to offend you when I say this. It's meant in such a compliment. You have such a Bruce vibe in that song.
Oh, thanks so much.
I was going to say too, it's like that the little bit of a growl in there.
Yeah, and even the guitar and like the crescendo from the start into the middle, and then everyone gets hooked when he's just slowly, It's,
Thank you. I'm a big fan, so it's not offensive.
Have you met him?
No, I never have.
Yeah.
No, I've not. I would love to.
Bruce, hurry up. What are you waiting for? He listens to the podcast all the time.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Perfect.
You got a show tonight. What's it like to hear or get a call or hear from Chico or anyone in your camp that, hey, the show's sold out?
It's honestly bizarre. I mean, it's really only started happening in the last 6 months because I've been touring a long time, but really the last 6 months is when we went on tour since everything kind of happened on the internet. And so it's definitely very weird for sure. Like when I walked out on stage in London, it was like 1,000-person theater. I've never played there in my life, and it was sold out. And I walked on the stage, and I was like, I was actually very emotional. I like had to pause for a second, but I was like, what are you people doing here? I felt like I was in the wrong place actually. But it's bizarre, and I hope I never take it for granted.
Yeah.
Cool.
Where do you see yourself coming up here in 10 years or so? What are you
I'd
going
like
to
to
be doing?
I love what I do, and I'd love to keep doing it. I would love to have my family be able to join. Like I'd like to have 2 buses so the kids can come. And
Are the kids in the band with you in 10 years?
I don't think so.
Did they show any interest? I suppose the one's pretty young. So
I think maybe my daughter shows interest in fame. Fame of any kind.
Did you take her to the Taylor Swift concert? Or?
No, she's just getting to that age now where she's starting to be interested. But I love what I do. I would love to, I love having my friends out on the road. In this tour, we got about 7 people. If we can have, 27, more of my friends, that's great. So that's kind of what it's all about.
What's your favorite memory from watching your grandfather or your dad when they would play, clubs?
I have, by the time I was getting like of age to really remember those things, I remember my grandfather mainly playing at like weddings and just as a young kid. And I don't know, he loved playing music. I actually have a lot of his musical instruments, and one of the things that I remember very clearly about my grandfather specifically is when I would play gigs, he would stand in the front row with my dad, and when I would finish a song, because I was just like a punk kid and I started singing when I was about 16, just so girls would like me and stuff. And I remember him being very specific, distinctly in the front row after I'd finished a song, and he would just mouth the words silently, but he would say thank you.
Oh,
thank you.
Smart.
And so I for some reason, I probably say thank you too much when I'm on stage, but somehow I imagine him in the front row, just like mouthing, thank you, say thank you.
Yeah.
So that's a deeply embedded memory.
That's a very nice one.
You definitely are just making some waves, especially in social media and going viral with your music. Is that weird for you, knowing that you did start so young? And we all started, we say this all the time, by listening to full albums. We listened to a story
and read all the liner notes,
yeah.
all of it. Yeah.
Is it weird to, not necessarily you're writing to go viral, you're writing your heart out, but is it weird to have a song be a single instead of kind of do albums? Or
piece by piece now?
I think the way this whole thing makes sense in my brain, because I'm with you. Like I loved getting an album. When I bought The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill or Hello Nasty by the Beastie Boys or whatever it was, like you listen from top to bottom and you kind of get the vision of the artist. Now I think the way I conceptualize what I do now is basically it's like I'm just letting people in on my process. It's the simplest way that I can communicate who I am. If I get a good idea, I just try to like not think about it too much, not think about the end result, but I just try to try it out, put it out in the world. And some things really go and most things don't. But I think all in all, it's kind of more, whereas people used to get the story from the album, now they're just getting the story from my life and from what I'm putting out there into the world. And so it might be a meat video one day and it might be a song about dying the next, but it's actually the life I'm living.
That's so cool. I know you got to get to Fogo de Chao, the Brazilian steakhouse.
No way. I'm scarred.
But man, thanks for coming out and taking your time. I know you're busy and getting stuff done and trying to. By the way, real quick, what broke down on the tour for this time?
So the first time was the Sprinter van in the fall. The Sprinter. So we got to the gig 20 minutes before the people got there in Indianapolis. The next tour was in Ireland. And the first show was in Ireland, and we plugged in our keyboards, and the keyboard basically started on fire. It was like the wrong power. It was like smoke started coming out and ooze, and it was crazy. This time we got a bus. We're like, let's spend the money. Let's do it. Let's do it right. We're going to, make this all work. And it's 2 p.m. and we're supposed to be a bus call, and the bus isn't there. It keeps getting pushed back. And finally the bus just it needed like new axles or something. So we had to get a new bus company, and we flew to the first gig and did the show acoustic, and the bus met us for the second night in Austin. And, but it's all working out great. It's a great bus, great crew. And I foresee a smooth sailing.
Do you like bus life?
It's definitely a lot better than driving for sure. Yeah, it's way nicer.
Well, thanks, man. We appreciate it. And everyone, check out Marc, whether you can go to the show tonight or just you're releasing new stuff all the time.
Yep.
When's the newest stuff coming out? Do you have a plan for that yet? Or are you just focused on touring right now?
I have a song, actually. I was working on the mix in the car while we were on our way over here. It's called Best Kept Secret. And I think it's like comes out in like 2 weeks.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
That's
excited
exciting,
about
man.
it
We're
all.
happy for you. We appreciate you taking the time to come
Thanks
see
for
us.
having me. I really appreciate
Next
it.
time you're in town, make sure you stop by again.
Thank you.
All right, and then we'll make sure that you're more famous than Taylor Swift then.
We'll work on it.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That's your job.
That, or at least bring your daughter and we'll like fangirl over you.
Exactly.
There you go.
have
There it
all
is.
Exactly.
All right, thanks for joining us. Hey, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out with us. It is Staci Hutch, Say Too Much, KS95. If you don't watch us on YouTube, or you can obviously get it wherever you get your podcasts.